Williams is a magician.
Are you ready for more?
He turns plays that have no business working into home runs.
Watch out, open field,
Caleb Williams is an elite reactor.
I tend to create history and rewrite history.
The crazy arm angles and being able to make any throw from all over the field.
He can deliver in critical situations.
and that's what Caleb Williams does.
That is the essence of pure talent and skill in quarterback play.
Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams' throwing ability has drawn comparisons to Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray. Williams is expected to be taken with the #1 pick in Thursday night's draft by the Chicago Bears. So what does the last pick of the 2022 draft, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, have in common with this year's projected first overall pick? Stefania Bell tells us.
Just weeks before the NFL draft, a small group of quarterbacks gathers in a public park in North Florida. Among them are projected first overall pick Caleb Williams and 49ers starting quarterback Brock Purdy.
Going to the NFL, there's things that I need to work on. I wanted to go to the best people, best guys. It's on something cool like this today where we're, seeing the biomechanics and things that you may not be able to see on TV.
It's the mobility, it's getting my shoulder to open up more so that my elbow can come through, just so I can be a more efficient thrower. Not just coming in to throw, but actually work on your mechanics.
They are here to train with Tom Gormley, a physical therapist with a background in baseball, who began his career working with major and minor league pitchers. Gormley believes that quarterbacks, like pitchers, can continue to develop their throwing strategy at the professional level by optimizing biomechanical efficiency. It starts with 3D motion capture, visualizing quarterback mechanics in all planes using high-speed cameras and avatars.
It's actually quite a big circle that you stand in the middle of. I love it actually because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And this is a new way for me to excel my game.
The critical aspect for Gormley is targeting every single exercise and treatment for a specific thrower towards functional changes on the football field.
When you come here, you kind of hear the way that we're basically going to assess you and kind of break down at a biomechanical level what we see as efficient or inefficient, and then kind of build together an entire rehab and skill development plan around what we see from the data we pull.
Best throw ever.
How do you communicate all of that fancy terminology to your athlete?
We'll always break it down and explain to them in the classical QB terms. This might be what we're looking at your thoracic spine or your shoulder or your torso or your pelvis to create hip-shoulder separation.
There's no white on that side of the...
Well, I'll explain it, and then I'll also step back and hey, this is what this means, because we're seeing balls to the left eye because you're not doing this.
Right up.
I think that's why baseball players use it so much, because everything that they do, they have to be so efficient and right on point, because they have a small box that they have to hit to be strike zone. Connecting that to football, you have to be the most efficient because you have about 2.1 to about 3.5 seconds or so to get the ball out and put it where you want. The biomechanics does that perfectly well for you.
The video is fed into algorithms for analysis. Hours later, motion capture expert Chris Hess breaks down the data with each player.
When they bring a quarterback in, we'll do a baseline assessment. Just understand how they move. There's the throwing side of it, which is the on-field skill, but it also gets compared with, okay, how do his hips move? What do his shoulders look like as far as range of motion? You're about 10 degrees under your target for external rotation, but day 4, it's gonna be tight.
I've taken a break since the Super Bowl, a good 5 weeks or so. I've been training, but not necessarily throwing. And so as you throw more and more, your shoulder capsule opens up, your layback comes back, and that allows you to whip the ball more. But as I throw throughout the off season and focus on my hips coming through first, that'll just continue to open up more and more.
You have decelerated your pelvis and your torso so all the energy can just cruise to the arm.
Yeah.
And so for Caleb, we have to teach him perfection is how he moves. And then as he goes into the season and through the season, we stay within that. It's gonna evolve.
I think the biggest thing that I'll take from this is finding keys on when I miss a pass, finding my rhythm throughout camp. Everybody drops differently, everybody throws differently, everybody, moves differently. But finding your rhythm, within your plays is going to be really important.
It's really cool stuff. A great job by Stefania there. What do you make of the biomechanic process that Williams is putting himself through here, Dan?
Yeah, I think if I was like teaching a young kid how to throw a football, he would be somebody that I would just say watch and model. Because what's interesting about Caleb is for a person who was so uniquely physically talented and there is that recess element, he actually is mechanically really good and very pure and natural to throw. I also love the fact that he's not even in the NFL yet, and he's already doing this.
Yeah.
That's a really good sign to me. I mean, so often I've played in the NFL for a little bit, and now I want to take the next step in my career. The fact that he's already kind of attacking this is something that we saw a little bit with Josh Allen and Joe Burrow very early on in their careers. He's doing it even before them.
He's a professional with the way he handles himself.
Yeah.
He's also got the charisma and the ability to speak that I think can command a locker room. Most likely the Bills locker room. I mean, excuse me, the Bears.
Whoa, what do you know? What do you know?
Interesting to be the first time that's happened, but it is rare to have those picks. Marcus, is wide receiver the play there for Chicago at 9?
Yeah, if the talent, first of all, we're seeing the impact of what wide receivers can be in rookie years over the last couple of years in this league. And if they feel like Rome Odunze, because we're assuming that Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. may be gone at that point, if he can be that type of game changer with bringing in Caleb Williams, then you go prolific. And you have DJ Moore on the opposite side. Obviously, Keenan Allen comes in. And now you have an offense where sometimes in this league, where we've seen where you have to put 40 points on the board and you would feel absolutely comfortable with having that type of talent. Now, the other side of it is, if you feel like one of the receivers later, if you can move down and package and still have a first-round pick and have the same sort of impact on your offense, being that you do have DJ Moore, who is phenomenal, in my opinion, then you may package it like Ryan Poles has done and gain more picks and continue to build throughout this roster. But if you've identified that wide receiver after Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. to be Rome Odunze, who can make this offense prolific, I think it's a no-brainer at that point, Dio.
Take Brock Bowers. If Chicago's there at 9, take Brock Bowers. And I've actually changed over the past week or so with that. I was team take the wide receiver. And the more I thought about it, 2 reasons why. So often when we see young quarterbacks come into the NFL and they play really well early on, it's because they have that tight end. That guy that they can flex out there and gather information and create the matchups. The guy that they can stretch the field both horizontally and vertically. The guy that understands that stuff really well. And I think Brock Bowers is going to be that person for Caleb in regards to, man, the matchups that you can create. And the second reason, Marcus, Shane Waldron, their new offensive coordinator who comes over from Seattle, utilized 2 or more tight ends at the 3rd highest level in the NFL over the last 2 years. Atlanta and Tennessee 1-2. And while they have Cole Kmet and Everett, I just think Brock Bowers, then we're talking about personnel packages that make it really easy for a rookie quarterback. Your guy, Dak Prescott, his rookie year, who did he have?
Jason Witten.
You know what I'm saying? I just think tight end there matters.
Listen, and Dio, you don't have to convince me, because if not for the injury, Brock Bowers may be the best pass catcher in this draft.
Yeah.
Beyond wide receiver, when you just look at pureness, because when we saw him at Georgia early in his career, you couldn't tell me it was anybody better at playing the tight end position, but more importantly, damn near catching the football. So I'm not far away from you on that at all. To your point, it just depends on what they want to deploy.
It's splitting hairs at that point because you have so many good pass-catching options. But I hear you guys on the fact that specifically a tight end could allow for the information gathering for a rookie. Either way, Brock Bowers is a lot better than he even looked last season. When he's healthy, watch out. Still.